Hey creative friends, it's Gwen and I'm back today with another scrapbooking process video. Today's share is part of Pink Fresh Friday. I am joining the guys and gals who play along in their YouTube hop to use up their Pink Fresh stash, and I am playing with the Best Day collection. The Best Day, it is new to me, so I think I got this earlier this year on discount and I have not used it yet. Today is the day. I have a bit of a plan for this one. I'm using this photo of my daughter and this cut file from Cut to You. I did go ahead off camera and back the file and see those little squares there. I have not cut those out because I know my photo is going to go there. Often I will come up with a plan for the layout before I start my fussy cutting just to help reduce how much I have to do. I did want to show you this as well. So this is the 12 by 12 pattern paper that I backed the file with. But when I cut it out, I was really careful not to cut around the border so that I could use that extra border piece to create a separate background that I'll use on another layout. Okay, so let's stick this down. I am going to center it. Oh, that's right. I ran out of tape. Oh, I didn't, and there was no way that I was going to reload my tape gun mid layout. That's a rule. I know I say there's no rules in scrapbooking, but that is absolutely a rule. One must not stop creating to attempt to reload their tape gun. So I'll just use my Nouveau to lock down the rest of the design there. Now with all of that done, I can go on and mat my photo. I'm using the 6x6 paper pad for this. I like these because the print is in a smaller format than it would be with the 12 by 12 sheets. So I do quite often get the coordinating pad in a smaller format for collections. And I want to say this was, I don't think it was half price. It might have been. It was a good deal. So I think I just grabbed everything that they had in the store for this line. So I'm going to mat the photo in this really pretty shade of grey. I'm then going to have a little bit of a think about my embellishments and where I want to go with those. So I am going to do a bit of a sweep through the collection. I'm going to put anything that I think I could use down on my craft mat there, and then anything that I know for sure won't be used will go into the bowl and I'll push that to the side. I do like to keep all of my embellishments in their separate, like however they come. So if they come in a pack, I like to keep them all separate. So that's why there's two bowls and two separate little piles going on there. Now, while I was doing that, I was also keeping in my mind the thought of what the title for the layout's going to be. So yes, there are some sentiments in this collection, but none of them really stood out to me to be worthy of a title. So I thought it would be a really good opportunity to use up the puffy alphas that come in this collection. I did get a packet, actually two packets, a larger blue one, which is this one that I'm going to use, and there is a smaller multicolored pack. But yeah, so because my frame is that really pretty deep, it's not navy blue, but almost navy blue, I'm finding that this is going to work really well because it's going to be dark enough to stand up off the background, and it's also going to tie together the frame of the layout, which is that blue, and then the title. Okay, so this is actually the trickiest part for me when I'm working with alphas, and that is trying to figure out where on earth they're going to go on the page. Because I find if I add them at the end, I generally don't have a space for the words. But if I add them at the beginning, well, I'm not sure where they're going to go. So I did find these, let me grab them. What are they called? Alphabet alignment guides. So they're made by American Crafts, and I think they're made for thickers, but they work for all kinds of alphas. And there's a couple of different shapes that you can get that come in the pack. I mainly use this one because I like things nice and straight. But what I like about them the most is that you can set out your word how you want it, and then you can then move that around the page to position it exactly where you need it to be. And it saved me repositioning letters, and it just, I don't know, it just allows in my mind like a way for me to see exactly how the title's going to look before I commit to sticking it down. So I love that. So my goal here is to have the title underneath the photo, and I'm going to want to nestle it in somewhere into that embellishment cluster. I want it to all look like it was meant to fit together. And I used to really struggle with that until I got these aligners. So if you're struggling with that, I recommend that you get yourself a set. I don't think they were super expensive. They were at my local Spotlight if you're an Aussie. And that was not too long ago, so they could still very well be there. Okay, so I'm confident that the title is going to go there. So now all I'm doing is using my T-square ruler, because I want to make sure that that title is nice and straight. And then letter by letter, I'm taking it off of the aligner and popping it onto my layout. I am in a moment here too going to add some stitching. I have found in the past that some of the puffy alphas need a little bit extra glue. So if you're not going to stitch them, you will need to add a liquid adhesive. The Nouveau is really good. Yeah, I just find maybe too in Queensland, because it's very humid and hot up here most of the year. I have found that if I don't add a little bit of extra glue to those puffy elements, that they can come off the layout in the future. But before I do that, I am going to look for a couple of other little elements. Those are chipboard stickers, and I do feel at this point that the layout needs a little bit more texture. There's a lot of paper elements at this point, and the only real thing that wasn't paper was the puffy stickers. So I do want to add those. But before I do that, I did need to add the stitching, because the chipboard is quite thick and I didn't want to have to force the chipboard through my sewing machine, knowing that I was going to place that element really close to the alphas there. So I did quickly go ahead and do that. I'm going to add the chipboard piece right there. See how close it is to the title? So yeah, it wouldn't have fitted through the machine had I done that first. And I'm just going to keep on building out my embellishment clusters. I do end up with one at the top edge of the photo. Then the largest one's going to be to the left there where that main floral cluster is. And then a little bit more under the words Teen Life. So that sort of is my visual triangle. I didn't really go into this layout thinking that's what I would do. I kind of let the embellishments decide for me. It's sort of just, this one just came together without too much thinking, which is a nice surprise. The one thing that I did focus on were the colors. So see how I've got a yellow flower on the left? Well, I've also got a yellow little strip of washi tape above my photo that sort of balances that yellow. There's a little bit of mustard in the camera. So I'm going to add this element here down the bottom that has mustard in it. And see how I was looking for that happy piece had mustard. So that's why I auditioned it there. Same with this flower. It's like, oh, it's got a little bit of mustard. Can I balance out the colors by adding that to any of the embellishment clusters? This floral piece was really, really good because it had a tiny bit of mustard in the leaves and then a little bit more yellow, and I felt like that really helped balance out the yellow because that flower on the left is quite big. So yeah, it was more, for me, this one was more about balancing out the colors more than the icons or the pieces in the embellishment clusters. And I find that that's so much easier when you've got really limited supplies to work with. I knew anything that I had left there on my bench would work. It was just a matter of like piecing it all together. And see, yeah, that's why I changed out that circle element, the camera at the top there. I just felt that the deeper blue matched or helped balance things out better than the pale blue up there. So now I have a deep blue above the photo, a deep blue in the leaves on the left, and then my deep blue title. So I hope that makes sense. And that's going to pretty much finish up the layout. I'm going to go ahead now and add my liquid adhesive to everything, lock everything into position, and call this one done. Thank you for being here, my creative friends. If you like the way that I scrapbook or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up. If you have a suggestion for pink fresh stash that I should use up in the next video, let me know in the comments below. I will also leave you with some links to the other creatives who are joining in the fun today, so be sure to check those out. Close-up images to come, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, bye!